What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Bad Podcast. Brad and Dawain in the building. Brad, what we talking about today, my brother?
You ever seen the movie A League of Their Own?
Of course I have. It's a classic.
Tom Hanks. Was it Tommy Dugan?
Yes.
Jimmy Dugan. Jimmy Dugan.
Jimmy.
It's supposed to be hard. If it
Mhm.
wasn't hard, everyone would do it. It's the hard that makes it great. Let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
Hey, good job, guys. Good job. Mental battles. Mental battles.
Hey, man. E2M for life, baby. What it looked like, what it do back in the building, man. Super excited about this podcast, man, and what we're doing. And always good to get behind the mic with my brother Brad, brother. Whew, it's another good one, man. I'm excited about this episode. Man, first of all, I got to shout everybody out, man, that's showing the love. We appreciate the comments and the kind words and the posts. We got a couple of posts this week, man. People posting in the group, shouting us out and letting us know they're listening, and people calling out my government name because I let it out last week.
Man, Benjamin.
Yeah, man. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
I'm all about the Benjamins.
Puff Daddy got it right, man. So all right, man. This week, the quote from not the quote, but the comment on our YouTube page. First off, I got to shout out Miss Carla Cook again. She actually was like, "Yeah, you guys shouted me out," So shout out to you for sure. And so this week is let's see, this was Bobby. Look like Bobby Evans.
Bobby Evans. I know Bobby.
Bobby Evans 9309. She said, "Thanks for hanging in there, guys. The story about the mom and daughters at the rest stop pulled at my heart, but unfortunately, it's the world we live in. The good will always outweigh the bad. Light over darkness, heart emoji, and the peace sign. So thank you, Bobby, for reaching out to us, and we appreciate you leaving comments, and everybody left a comment. We had quite a few. And like I said, we pick one every week, and we're super, super grateful for it, man. So, B, let's jump into this thing.
Yes, sir. Hey, before we take a dive, I just want to take a second and apologize for my lack of enthusiasm last week. I'm never down under the blanket of fatigue, but last week, man, I was certainly under the heavy blanket of fatigue. But hey, we're here this week, and we've bounced back, and that's what life's all about. So, I'm gonna read that quote again. Jimmy Dugan, not Tommy, but Jimmy, my man Tommy Dugan. He's a football guy, maybe. All right. But it's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. It's the hard that makes it great. Now, I got a story about becoming great in real time, right? Okay, so I'm reading this story. I'm back on the reading thing, man.
We're back, baby. We're back.
I'm just clicking at all cylinders now that I'm reading again. So I'm reading this story about a pilot that had a heart attack. Mid-flight, they're up in the air, they're flying through the clouds, they're slicing through the clouds, and the pilot has a heart attack. Now, this isn't one of those big airplanes. It's like a single engine Cessna, so they only have 6, 7, 8 passengers in the back. So what happens is it's fight or fight. It's not fight or flight. It's fight or fight. You got to fight for your life at that point, right? You think about flight while you're in the air, but it's fight for your life or nothing. Okay. So this guy in the back of the plane, this innocent bystander, okay, he has to come to the controls and get on the radio headset and say, "Hey, listen, my name's maybe it's Tommy Dugan. Maybe it was Tommy Dugan." All right. And so Tommy gets on the headphones. He says, "Listen, so-and-so just had a heart attack. I'm in control. Okay. I got to land this plane. How do I get from point A to point B? What buttons do I push? What controls do I pull?" Okay. Most people would panic in this situation, but now this is a part of becoming great. Okay. There's no options when it comes to these situations. You can't think about, you can't contemplate the ins and outs. You can't think about, do I pull back? Do I push forward? You just figure it out along the way. So, what got me thinking about this and how we're going to relate this to fitness is this, Dawain. All right. So he's flying along. Okay. He's at the wheel the controls for 15 minutes, then 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, man, starting to get comfortable. This is all right. I'm all right at this. Okay. Boom. Turbulence.
Mm.
He hits a rough patch. Okay, so this inexperienced first-time flyer, it has the control for 30 to 45 minutes, and he hits his first sign of turbulence. Now, again, you go back to that panic situation. Okay, you've got options here. You throw up the hands and quit, or you buckle down and press on. Okay, I only see one option there. Now, how do we relate this to fitness? Some people are already articulating an idea of their mind. Okay, so you sign up for an 8-week program, and in week one is that you get at the controls, and you're highly anticipating the next move, and you're talking to somebody in another room, and you're telling them I need help, and you're being pushed in the right direction. But then what happens in weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6, when that excitement, okay, when that adrenaline wears off, okay, what happens is a lot of us throw up the hands, and we experience that turbulence or that resistance of life, and we give up, we give in. And that's one of those pivotal moments. That's that fork in the road moment of life where you have options, but if you want to advance, if you want to excel, you want to succeed, you only have one option, and that's to buckle down and press on.
Mm. Wow.
Lot,
Yeah. No.
lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff, and
Yes.
I dove in, man. I'm making up for lost time, man. Last week was terrible, and I
It
and
was
I
not
man,
terrible,
I'm
man.
back. I was at the camera like this. What,
It was.
Dwayne? What?
We were tired, but it wasn't
Tired,
terrible, man.
man.
People still got something out of it. That's all that matters. But
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
man,
no doubt.
that is a lot to unpack, man.
Hmm.
I mean, just thinking on the fitness front, because we cover it a lot, man, about getting into something, getting comfortable,
Hmm.
and then having to adjust to something new. Because
Yep.
that's what happens,
Yep.
whether it's turbulence in the pilot's case, or
Mhm.
whether it's the because we're in June, whether it's a vacation that you plan before you sign up for the 8-week challenge,
Yes, sir.
you
See it all the
going.
time.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
you didn't know you was gonna be on an 8-week challenge,
Hmm.
going to Cancun or going on
Hmm.
a cruise, and you have a decision to make, just
Yeah.
like that pilot, man. You have a decision. Am I going to try to stick with what I got going? I'm gonna stay engaged, or am I just gonna throw my hands up
Yeah.
for a week or 2 weeks or whatever that vacation is
Hmm.
and just give into it?
Yeah.
Actually, I was live. By the time you're hearing this, I was live last Thursday, uh, talking about just the either giving up or just continuing to do what you can, man. And because even in the pilot's case, the turbulence came, and he's a first time flyer,
Hmm.
and him attempting is going to be terrible. It's not
Hmm.
going to be perfect.
Hmm.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be they're going to feel all of that.
Yeah.
But it's the difference between him doing that and him just giving up and
Yeah.
just like, I quit. I can't take on this hard,
Yeah.
man. And so that is a decision that people are going to have to make, and we make it, when it comes to running into a rough patch whenever you make a decision to do something.
Yeah. And those rough patches are more frequent than we even think about, right? And
Mhm, mhm.
a lot of times, we're at the first sign of opposition, what we do is we spin out, we
Yep.
freak out, we panic, and then we go around and around and around with that repetitive, vicious cycle of, okay, well, I'm experiencing this. Not everybody experiences this. I'm going to go back to my old ways, or I'm going to go back to my old lifestyle. I promise you, if you're listening to this podcast, I've experienced about every resistance, every opposition, every adversity that you can think of. And here's the thing, Dwayne. I like to intentionally, I mean, you guys know, everybody that listens to this podcast know what
We
kind of
know.
extremes that I go through, okay? Because I like to place intentional resistance in my life. So when I'm hit by that external force, I ain't surprised. If I
Mhm.
if the hot water doesn't work at the gym, no big deal. I'll take a cold shower. If
Mhm.
if if I can't breathe very well out of my mouth, I'm good. I got my nose. You learn to adjust, you learn to adapt, and this can be relatable to any area of life. You talk wealth, you talk health, you talk parenting, you talk partnership with your wife or your husband, you talk fitness, like our podcast, we talk fitness. Okay, you have to find a way to be proactive and not reactive. You have to prepare mentally and physically for the turbulences of life. Okay, and like I said, just get intentional, just get deliberate, get on purpose with the things that you're putting in your life, and make your life tough. I'm not talking about chasing bears, running through fires. I'm talking about reading hard material. I'm talking about plank tucks. I'm talking about long distance running. I'm talking about being restricted on what you eat. All right. Be intentional with that kind of thing. That's how you're going to climb the ladder of success.
Yeah, for sure. And when you do that on a like if you when you're intentional on doing it, like you mentioned, when life's as we say, when life start lifing,
Yeah.
you know, it won't be as of a I guess it won't be a dramatic blow.
Right.
You know, if you put yourself, you don't have to tape your mouth and coach out. You just if you work out, that is
Please,
when you
please don't do that.
if you work out,
Yeah.
that is putting your body
Yeah.
under so it's getting intense, putting
Yeah.
your body under stress.
Mhm.
If you do any kind of workout, if you do, if you're E2M or listen, you're doing the circuits like you mentioned, the plank tucks, plank jacks, that all of that stuff is adding resistance to
Mhm.
your body, and that physical resistance will also build the mental resistance,
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah.
uh in your day, whenever things come up or when things, get challenging at home or at work or wherever, because your body has experienced some resistance and your brain knows how to react to that,
Mhm.
it'll help you in those situations, man. So
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a direct correlation between the
Yeah.
two.
100%. I This morning I had a treadmill class, and I talked about this saber. Okay, you pull this saber out of your holster, right? A sword, a knife, or whatever, and you take it. And the first time that you purchase this saber, okay, or the first time that you grind it out and you smooth the edges and it's extremely sharp, and you cut into a piece of meat, or we'll use a piece of paper for example. So you cut through a piece of paper once. The sword is not going to stay sharp day after day after day after day after
Mm,
day. Now, the way that you keep this sword, this saber sharp, is you have to come back and you need to resharpen it every single day. Now, how is this relatable to fitness? If you take advancements in your fitness game, okay, and you reach a point of, say, maintenance, right? You don't just stay at maintenance. You have to come back each and every day, and you have to be deliberate. You have to put some stress on your body, okay? You have to be tough on yourself. All right. And then when it comes to sharpening this saber, okay, it's one stroke at a time. It's
mhm,
one rep at a time. It's
mhm.
one step at a time. It's one day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year at a time. And gradually you will progress in life. It's those people that tell themselves, "Well, I've worked extremely hard. I'm okay to take a day off. I'm okay to put my saber back in the holster and not sharpen it today." That's not how things work. You don't
Mhm.
sharpen it today, you fall back. You don't sharpen it another day, you fall back, and then it's hard to find your way back onto the path. You have to stay in control, gain control, stay in control, and then you have nothing to worry about.
That's right, man. I love that. And I love that example, man, because to sharpen a sword, man, it's a grinding that take place, man.
Grind.
It's a grind. You gotta take that sharper, man, and just grind those edges and make them pointy, man. And it's part of the process, man. It's funny, that you mentioned the maintenance part, man. I get asked, and somebody even mentioned it on the comments, man. I get asked all the time, you on maintenance, you on maintenance? I the maintenance isn't my desire. Like
Yeah,
I don't chase maintenance. Like,
sure.
fitness, like, for the musicians out there, fitness isn't it don't have a sustain pedal. You just can't
No,
hit
sir.
that note and put your foot on it and it just stay there. You gotta always be going towards something, working towards something. Like Brad said, you gotta always be sharpening that sword. Um, of course we want to enjoy things, and we
Mhm.
don't want to be on extreme all the time, man, but for me, man, I like maintenance, and no offense to my E2M family that and chasing maintenance, on maintenance, enjoying maintenance. No offense, love y'all enjoy it. It's just not a desire, man.
Yeah.
In my mind, that just seemed like taking my foot off the gas.
Yeah.
That's just and I guess it may be a mentality. I don't
Yeah.
know, man,
Yeah.
but that's just kind of how I view that, and I'll get off my maintenance salts
Nah.
soapbox, man, because
Stay on the soapbox. Stay on the soapbox.
well, because and
Beat
another
it.
thing, B man, is I see a lot of people go to maintenance too early.
Mhm.
Just to be honest.
Mhm.
And I have to shout out my man Cliff. Cliff reached out to me, bro. And I shared this on one of our lives. Cliff reached out to me, said, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna send you my picture, man. I think I'm gonna go to maintenance." And my first question was, "Why? Like, why do you want to go to maintenance?" It's like, I like, like the number I'm at or whatever. I said, do you like how your body looks? He's like, oh yeah, it's cool, man. It's better than it was. I was
Right.
like, well, hey,
Mhm.
if you like how your body looks, I'm down. But if you think you can do more, you think you can do better.
Mhm.
And he was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna see if I can do a little bit more. And now the man looks like a specimen. Like my nickname for him is Shredded Wheat, because that dude is
No doubt.
but
Yeah.
shout out to Cliff, man. And that's
Shout out
just an
Cliff.
example of, wanting to be in a relaxed state so
Mhm.
much, and you miss out on something that's, extraordinary. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
dude, I mean, dude looks amazing. That's my guy.
Yeah.
But it's just an example of, you don't want to stop too short when it comes to your journey, and it's a journey. It's a continual thing. You don't want to you don't want to look for a finish line, man. Like we talked about the Emerald City, man. You see
Hey.
it, but there's more out there, man. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna get off that, man. But
Nah. I like that, Dawain, and I'm gonna get on it. All
get
right.
on
So
it.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just not finding the results that I want." He's not in E2M. He just tries to eat healthier, make the better
Mhm.
options. He was telling me, he goes, "Well, I instead of potato chips, I eat pork rinds." I'm like, "All right, man. Like, well, you might you might want to
You're choking
reassess,
me.
man. You might, yeah. Are you messing with me?" And so I asked him, I said, what prevents you from jumping on the E2M bandwagon, the train? He says,
Mhm.
well, I mean, honestly, I'm good with where I'm at. And those are my trigger words. I'm like,
Ooh-wee.
are you okay with being good? Are you
Mm,
okay with being okay? Are you okay with being average, mediocre? I'm
mm,
just not okay with that, Dwayne.
mm-mm,
That's why
mm-mm.
that's why I'm always trying to be intentional with everything that I do. That's why I'm always trying to read, because I want to be sharp.
Mhm.
Dude, I guarantee everybody sees a significant change in how I was last week and how I was this week. Yeah, I could have leaned on the crutch of, hey, I was tired, but the week prior to our last podcast, I wasn't reading. I read
Mm.
all this week, man. I'm clicking. I'm
Yeah,
feeling
man.
it. I'm feeling it tonight.
I see it.
And yeah. And the thing is, here's the thing. You talk about people stop a little bit too short of where they want to be. They stop a little bit too short of where real maintenance should be obtained, right? I read a statistic one time, okay? 85% of people will quit a hard or difficult task before they obtain it because they don't know how close they are. They
Mm,
stop, they turn around, they go back to their old lifestyle, they go back to their previous start line because
mm,
they don't know that their one decision, their one turn, their one workout, their one meal away from where they want to be, but instead they stop and they say, "Man, I've worked really hard to get to this point. I don't see the point of continuing. I'm going to go back,"
mm.
only to regret it after a day or two.
Oh, man, for sure, for sure.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, bro. That and not know how close you were,
Mhm. Yeah.
to that mark, man.
Yeah.
And I shared this before, man. I experienced that myself
Mhm.
last year, this time,
Yeah.
got really close to a goal, and just kind of stopped and pulled back, and but I'm happy to say I'm back to where I was last year, man. And I have a better view of it,
Mhm.
and I'm enjoying the ride a little bit better, and I know, once I get closer and continue to go and continue to push, man. And I credit, honestly, I credit this podcast, man. A lot of times we talk to y'all, but we talking to
Mhm.
ourselves, man.
One
We
hundy.
we we're being transparent. We're we're putting out there, our struggles and our stumbles and our pitfalls, man. Because
Mhm.
like I mentioned, we're just human beings, man, and we really care, and we are intentional as far as
Mhm.
wanting to add value to you guys,
Mhm.
and just give you these conversations, man. But to kind of jump back on, man, of what you're talking about, man, the biggest aspect to me, and it's even in your notes, is being able to take control of the moment, man. Being able to assess.
Mhm.
You may have
Yeah.
been that person that turned around, when you got close, but you can assess. You can look and say, okay, I need to go back this way, and take control of that moment,
Yeah.
man. So I know you had some stuff on that, man, but I want to kind of, turn that train a little bit.
Yeah. No, I like that. I have to say one thing. I just wrote it in my notes here. Um, you're you're back to where you want to be, and I had to do this. You're back to where you want to be because You're out here grinding. I said it. I had to. All right, back on it. All right. You talk about seizing the moment and really grasping a hold of the opportunity that is at hand, right? I was running my half marathon a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, and I peeked over and I saw this sign and it said, "Be where your feet are." I was like, ooh. I was
That's
like,
good.
I need that. I said, it says, be where your feet are. Okay.
Mhm.
Because oftentimes we're always thinking about the things behind us. We're always thinking about
Mhm.
the things in front of us. We're never
Mhm.
thinking about where our feet are.
So good.
We're not never. We're rarely in the
Mhm.
present. Okay. We're rarely in the present, and being present, being in life's moments, okay, and being where your feet are, that's how you're going to take those massive strides in your life. And I know we're creeping up on the end of time, and I don't want to be cut short. This is one of those nights where like you just want to keep rolling, but that's all
Hey,
right.
man. What I tell you, man? Keep going, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But just being present in the moment is what we all lack. And because, we're a society of always, watching social media and always
Mhm.
thinking about the next big thing and not taking control of our own flight. And a lot of that stems from wanting to impress other people. We want to
So true.
lead by example. And now here's the crazy thing about taking control of this moment and taking control of your flight. All right, we try to impress others. We try to lead by example, but by doing that and thinking so far ahead or thinking so far behind and being shackled to one end or the other, all right, we often forget that people actually rely on us being present. Okay,
Mm.
because people are flying with us. People are on our plane. People are
Mm.
on our flight. And by thinking about the destination, by thinking about the start line or your takeoff, man, you ain't thinking about the controls that you have right in your hands. You're not thinking about each and every turn and each and every button that you push. You're not thinking about, okay, there's turbulence ahead. What do I have to do to adjust? Or what do I have to do to prepare? There's another plane flying directly at me. What do I have to do to prepare? What do I have to do to adjust? But
Mm.
because we're thinking about landing the plane, but
Mhm.
because we're thinking about the takeoff and how it wasn't perfect,
Mhm.
we lose control of what's right in front of us. And
Yes.
that's how we lose control on life.
No, that's that's the closer, bro. Like that's so good.
Boom. Boom.
That is so good, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna stack on that because that's so real, man, about being, in the moment and a beneficiary. The only thing I'm gonna say, because I actually got this from your stories, is you know, we gotta consider the people on the plane with us, man, which is
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
times our family.
Mhm.
We have to be mindful of those moments and not get too far ahead where we don't include them or we don't, spend time with them, man. That clip you dropped, man, was pretty dope. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, man. So all right, B, before we hit this last segment, anything you want to say? You already dropped the bomb, man. I think.
Hey, drop the bomb, but I can't afford to go down. You can't afford to
Mm,
go down. We can't afford to go down. Let's keep this thing rolling.
cannot. All right, let's get it, y'all. This week's Do You Know?
Do you know?
All right, B, it's on you, man.
Me. So we talked about taking flight today. We talked about taking control. Now, back in 2020, schools were let out. Teachers were let out, and we didn't know when we would return. We didn't know, what the future would hold. So, in those situations, it's hard to see what the next move is. So instead of waiting for the next move, instead of waiting for the next opportunity, I took flight. Okay, and I started something called Mr. B's Adventures, and I don't know if you know anything about the Mr. B's Adventures, Dawain. This was well before your time.
Mm,
But so I started a series of videos, okay, and they were all via social media, all via Facebook, and I would get on there and I would, try to encourage, try to inspire, try to motivate my kids to get outside for a walk, get outside and be kind to each other, get outside to get some fresh air. Because in a time of uncertainty back in 2020, man, you just didn't know when that next chance to get outside or get a good walk in. So that was actually the start of my fitness, my passion for fitness on the next level. I've always been in fitness, and that was that kind of next step, and I truly believe, because all those steps that I had taken, I had taken control of my own plane and taken control of my own flight. that was sort of like the lead up to establishing my role with E2M, because man, I just showed a lot of people passion. I showed a lot of people what I felt about inspiring kids and inspiring people in general. And I'm talking tens and thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on these videos that I created within a 6-month span. And then once we went back to school, I mean, other schools were reaching out to me. Hey, can you work with our phys ed department? I'm like,
Wow.
I'm trying to do my own thing, but yeah, I'll hook up with somebody at some point. But when we went back to school, it was like the ongoing joke, like, hey, you making any more of those videos? I need to be inspired. I need to be motivated. That's just one of those things that sort of led me up to the role that I'm in today. And
Wow.
that's an example of just taking control of what you have in your life and not letting life's turbulences direct the way that you advance through life.
That's amazing, B. Like,
Yeah.
and your timing is perfect with that, because I'm a social media guy. At the same time, Facebook was competing with YouTube, and so any videos via social media they put at the top of everybody's algorithm. So
Yeah.
like that's how it took off so much, man. So
Yeah.
that's super dope, man.
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna throw up I was doing something similar during that time.
Yeah.
But I'll save it for my
Yes, sir.
moment,
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah.
man, first, hey bro, always a pleasure with you.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
To the listeners, thank you guys for checking out the Bad Podcast. Make sure comment, tag, share, tell people, let everybody know, man. Favorite podcast right here. Every Monday we dropping bombs, baby. So till next time, y'all, we out of here.
Let's go.